Today, we are here to talk about the erotic blueprints and specifically the Kinky Blueprint. And if anyone was wondering, yes, that is why I'm wearing this chain. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our exploration of the erotic blueprint types. I am Janice Formichella, and I am the hostess of Sex and the Solo Girl. And my guest.
Hello, everyone. My name is Patty Alfonso. I am an erotic priestess, erotic blueprint coach, S Factor instructor extraordinaire, and I am so delighted to be here with the hostess with the mostest, Janice.
I am excited to be here as well. And definitely, I think we need to go into more detail about what an erotic priestess initiate is, and we will do that another time. Today, we are here to talk about the erotic blueprints and specifically the Kinky Blueprint. And if anyone was wondering, yes, that is why I'm wearing this chain. This is a series that we are doing on the erotic blueprints. Patty is an erotic blueprint coach, which just fascinates me and makes me jealous. And I believe strongly in the blueprints, and that is because our sensuality and our sexual selves is one of the most intricate aspects of ourself and one of the most personal, and it's one of the things that really makes us us. And so when we are in touch with this side of ourselves, when we have a relationship with our own sexuality, we are able to show up in the most authentic way. And when we show up authentically, we show up confidently, and we encourage others to do the same. And that is why the erotic blueprints concept turns me on so much. And like I said, we're talking about the Kinky Blueprint today. Can you tell us just really quickly what all the types are? And then let's start with getting our kink on.
Yes, thank you so much. I absolutely love everything that you just said. It's also my perspective, which is why I think we get along so well. Really diving into our sexuality, our eros, our erotic essence is such an important journey. And it's usually like the last thing that people do.
This is true. Yes.
Would it really, in my opinion, like what would it take for this to be the first thing that people do?
Yes. A lot of people know like their Myers-Briggs, and there's all sorts of different personality tests online, or what is your work style? And yeah, why don't we lead with what is your sexual style?
It's how we all got here.
Yeah.
Right? So, I'm on this revolution bandwagon with Jaya, who is the creator of the Erotic Blueprints, and also, in my priestess circle, just embodying the primal goddess. And anyway, so the Erotic Blueprints, let's focus. I'm really excited to be here and talk about the kinky as well. So the erotic blueprints, basically the way that I like to describe it is because a lot of people are aware of the love languages. So an easy way to describe the erotic blueprints is to say that this is like your love languages, but for sex, right? So there's 5, which we have already talked about 3 of them. So please go check out those other episodes. But the 5 erotic blueprints are energetic, sensual, sexual, kinky, which we're diving into today, and the shapeshifter. And so each of those blueprints have their own ways of being turned on, their own shadows, their own superpowers. So in regards to the kinky blueprint, and this, I actually really love this definition from the erotic blueprints, because when we say kinky, I feel like so many things come up for people that are in the spectrum of kinky, but that's not necessarily exactly what it means.
Right.
So in the erotic blueprints, we talk about kinky as being turned on by what is taboo. Specifically, what is taboo for you?
Mhm.
right? So if you are someone who has had sex, all of your sex in the missionary position, for example, taboo for you, kinky for you might be trying a different position. And there you are in the land of kinky,
Mhm.
right?
Another example is when I've talked about this on Sex and the Solo Girl before, I've suggested if people want to explore their kinky side to maybe experiment with some anal play. And I
Yeah,
have had friends say to me, "That's kinky? I've always been into that." But if if you haven't, that could be a place to start. But good example. Some people would never imagine that anal sex.
exactly. Like, for example, I mentioned I'm an S Factor licensed instructor. So I've been doing dancing, pole dancing, sensual feminine movement for over 20 years. To me, that is not kinky, but to other women, that is very kinky, right? So again, turned on by what is taboo for you. And anal play is a perfect example of that as well. Now, there's different kinds of kinky. So there is the psychological kind of kinky, which is turned on by role play, psychological games of dominance and submission, setting up scenes. Like, let's say with your partner, this can be kinky for some people, like go to a bar and pretend like you don't know each other and then act like strangers for the evening. That is like a scene, a role scene that can be very kinky for some people. And then there's the sensation aspect of the kinky, and that is around impact play. Spanking, slapping, pulling of hair, ropes, right? Constriction, anything that is sensation based for the body also falls in that category. So some people may like psychological more, some people may like the sensation based more, and all of that falls in this category. So you're kinky if you're turned on by those kinds of things,
Mm.
right? That's in your lane. If you like to be spanked while you're having sex, or listen, I don't necessarily like to be spanked while I'm having sex, but I certainly like to give myself a nice high five when I'm dancing, right?
Okay, give
I love
yourself.
Yes, hey,
Oh,
right? And we'll do
love
some
it.
of that when we
That's cute.
we'll do some of that when we dive into the pleasure first, which we can do right after I'm done explaining kind of like the kinky. So if you like to be spanked while you're in the bedroom, or flogging is another thing, being tied up. Like, I haven't explored that in the bedroom yet. I'm super curious, but I haven't found a partner that I feel really comfortable surrendering to in that.
Oh, interesting. I'm the opposite. I'm very lucky right now in that
I
regard.
love that. I love that. So handcuffs, being tied up, all of those things turn you on, and bring you pleasure. It can also be in the psychological realm, can be fantasies, right? And so with that, I want to say sometimes the psychological, there's a fantasy and that turns you on in the fantasy world, but it doesn't always translate to the physical world. It can, but it doesn't always.
Okay,
So
like some role playing in the bedroom.
exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Which is
Like
another way to explore kink. Sometimes if you act it out verbally with your partner, you can kind of dip your toe in it and see, how it goes first.
right.
Mhm.
And okay, so thank you for saying that, because this is the next thing that I want to say is that and we are big proponents of this in the erotic blueprint. So exploring the kinky, um, I would say, and we talk a lot about this in the erotic blueprints, is that you need to or explore it with someone that you feel really safe and comfortable with, someone who knows how to set a container, right? If you're going to do a scene, setting the container for that scene, someone who listens, right? The superpowers for the kinkies are definitely like amazing communication skills.
Well,
Commu-
along those lines, can you say a little bit more about what a container is?
yeah, yeah. So communication skills in the sense of really listening to the body, right? And being really aware. And then obviously setting up those safe words, right?
Mm-hmm.
So setting the container, that's what you asked me, right?
Yes. Say a little bit more about that for those who might not know our language.
Yes, absolutely. So setting a container is like you have a dialogue with your partner outside of
Mm-hmm.
the moment, and you guys have a conversation about what you would like to explore. And then you set the boundaries around that. You set the container. Okay, and let's just say, for example, I would like to, Sam, you're my partner and we're talking. I would like to be dominated. So I want to be in the submissive. And my safe words, green if it's going great, yellow if I'm a little bit not sure, and then red is a hard stop. And I would like to explore this dynamic for 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And during this time, this is what you can do, and this is what you can't do. This is what works for me, and this is what doesn't work for me. So when playing in the realm of the kinky, there does need, in my opinion, there does need to be some education around that. You don't want to just like willy-nilly. I mean, maybe maybe you're super kinky and that super, super works for you, right? To just like dive in.
Mm-hmm.
And for people that might be exploring this for the first time and just a little bit curious, right? There's definitely some education that needs to happen. You have to know what works for you and doesn't work for you.
And maybe get some ideas, which is why we are so lucky that we have a thing called the internet that can give us ideas and maybe community and thoughts for how to start things, and sexy pictures to kind of get you turned on.
There's a plethora of things.
Even podcasts. I started listening to some Dom sub podcasts, and it's so cool. Learning things to try that you would never think of. You might have had an inclination toward, and this can really just like throw your world wide open.
Yes, exactly. And I just want to reiterate, in the realm of the erotic blueprints, kinky is what is taboo for you. Mm-hmm. Right. And in that, we've already talked about that wide spectrum. It could be, I only do missionary, but I want to start playing with anal play. Then that's what's kinky for you, all the way deep into like the BDSM and the dom and subspaces and all of that. And so it's a wide range, and we get to decide what is kinky for my body. Right.
And I could see this leading to some shadows. And so I'm looking forward to talking about that. Yes. And I have some questions already.
Yes. Beautiful. So let's go right into that. And maybe this time we'll switch it up and we'll do the pleasure first at the end.
Oh, okay. So okay, wonderful. So what I'm wondering is, you're saying what is taboo for you? When we talked about the other blueprint types, it was, really what gets you turned on mostly. Like the sensual, having the scene set, having things worked out, having things quote unquote, just like going perfectly, being able to get out of the moment kind of easily, wanting things perhaps to be slow, sensual is what works for me typically. So if somebody, and you like to have lots of space in the beginning and lots of foreplay, that was the energetic type, lots of mental foreplay. And that is what will typically, if not most of the time, work for you. So if we're talking about kinky being what is taboo for you, then how does this exactly work? So our kinky, the kinky blue type is mostly wanting different experiences all the time. I mean, I don't see how this like typically works for someone, I guess.
Yeah. So the shadows around the kinky in general are that there is a lot of shame around what actually brings the person pleasure. They just think that because this brings them pleasure, there must be something like psychologically wrong with them. And I think that's, culturally and from our society and the messages that we get around sex, that's not okay, especially like, let's say, in a really religious construct where sex is bad and a sin, and then you layer on top of that that you like to get peed on, or that you really like, you know, to be tied up so tightly that you get bruises, right? So
Ooh,
the
that's me.
shadows.
Or even dirty talk. I mean, I was kind of raised in
Exactly.
a culture that even talking dirty would have been considered either taboo or
Exactly.
unfeminine or something that you just definitely
Exactly.
didn't do.
Exactly. And
Mm.
now in the this, you know, explosion in the age of like non-conformity and gender fluidity, you know, I've seen some gentlemen who their kink is to be referred to as a woman. And so then they go into like, well, this is weird. Like, why would this turn me on?
Hmm.
So in the shadow realm of the kinky, it's just like a lot of shame around what actually brings you pleasure.
Yeah. And
You
questioning
can
of
get
your
stuck.
identity too, because we
Yeah,
tie our what we do in the bedroom, some of us, so, or not me at all, but so closely with how you identify. And so
exactly.
for some people, this could cause some sort of internal, but crisis because we're just not used to embracing
Yes.
embracing it and just kind of going with it. And
Because
especially if you were raised in a religious context, it's like, what
yeah,
does this mean for me and my future?
exactly. And like, you know, I'm gonna go to hell because, you know, I like to be spanked so hard that it leaves,
Yeah.
you know?
Mhm.
Um,
Or if
I-
I'm a feminist, maybe what does it mean, that I want to
exactly.
be
Exactly.
dominated?
I'm a strong, independent woman. Why am I so turned on by submitting in the bedroom? Maybe
Hmm.
you know, so there's just a lot that can come up in the realm of shame and psychology and feeling like what turns you on is not good. Other shadows of the kinky are, um, oh, oh, you can, sorry. Like, woo! Other shadows of the kinky are if you get stuck in patterns.
I was gonna ask about this, and if it is maybe hard to get turned on if you're not being taboo.
Exactly. That's
Okay.
the
Mhm.
shadow realm, is that unless I'm watching porn with my partner, I can't get a hard on,
Mhm.
you know, unless I'm tied up and fully constricted, then I don't get turned on. So you get stuck in patterns that are taboo, and then they become the only way that you can receive turn on,
Yeah.
right? Another shadow is putting yourself in unhealthy situations due to lack of education.
Ooh,
So with the
okay.
kinky, you have to really be present with your body and your capacity and your resilience to really engage with this blueprint in a healthy kind of way, not going so beyond your edges that you cause harm to yourself or to another.
And again, why education and going online and getting that.
Education and making sure that you are practicing this, like if you're partnered, right? Because there's ways, and we'll do this in the pleasure first, that you can explore the kinky on your own.
Ooh.
But if you're practicing with a partner, you also really need to be aware of what you need after the scene or the role play in order to take care of yourself. You know, if, right, not everybody that explores kink has trauma. I just want to be really clear about that. But if there is trauma and you get triggered, what do you need to take care of yourself? So that's all part of being educated. And what's coming to mind right now, for example, you know, a simple kinky, let's say you decide to go role play with your partner and, you know, you dress up like not yourself. You know, so I'll use myself as an example. Let's say, you know, I put on a blonde wig and I wear something that I would never wear before. And that's kind of the scene that I want to explore, not being myself and feeling like I'm having sex with a stranger. And let's say that I have a lot of trauma in my lineage and in my body around infidelity. And let's say
Okay.
that I'm really excited about trying out this scene, and in my psychology, in my head, it feels like it would be really cool. But then once I'm in the moment, I get really triggered about that, about my partner
Oh.
wanting someone that isn't me. So then how do you take care of yourself after that?
Mhm.
So that's why education is really important, because in the shadows, if there is trauma present, if you don't have the proper support, then it can cause more damage. So I love this blueprint because of the freedom, right, in the spectrum, and they all have, a little bit of that, but the freedom in the spectrum of like, what is kinky for you? And the other reason I love this blueprint is because of the education
Mm.
that it, I think, requires to create safety for yourself and for your body, to create a safe container for you and your partner, honoring of boundaries, and you have to have like a deep consent conversation, right?
Well,
Um,
speaking of
okay, yes.
conversations and having embracing the kinky blueprint inside of relationships. So I want to talk about both sides of the coin here. What if you know that you're kinky
Mhm.
and perhaps your partner isn't? And we talked a lot about this in our discussion about the energetic because it's so
Mm,
specific. So how would you suggest, I guess, approaching it with someone who is not the kinky type?
yeah. Well, as with everything, I always suggest exploring with yourself first, that internal exploration so that you can get to know yourself and what you need. Um, and then now it's a matter of creating a container of conversation with your partner about whether or not, like, where are they in this particular arena, whether or not they're willing to explore, because this is about honoring yourself and also honoring your partner, right? And
Yes.
then, and it may be in your own internal exploration that you need a coach to get present with yourself and your needs, and someone who can hold that really non-judgmental space for you about what your needs are. So I would 100% start with exploring for yourself. And then once you are comfortable and grounded in yourself and your desires and what you want, then you can bring it to your partner. And it may be that your partner's like, oh, hell no. Oh, I could never. Oh my God, this is
Mm-hmm.
awful. So then that is something,
This is awful.
no way. Then that is something that, you're going to have to be present with. And there, so,
Mm-hmm.
so it's going to create something. It could be that your partner's like, hell yeah, I want to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a coach. Let's get a dom that's going to train us and show us, right? There's so much available and so much out there around this. And I
I
think
have a little tip.
I think the first step is definitely to come to grounded awareness and non-judgmental space within yourself first.
Yes, embracing this side of you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I just want to, when people take the quiz, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, there's a whole section in the report that you receive that talks about this particular
Mm.
thing. Like, when you're this, how do you address this with your partner? So I just want to put that out there.
Yes, please. The link to the Erotic Blueprints quiz is in the show notes, and we will talk a little bit more about that at the end. And I just want to put out a little tip for another quiz. And I
Yeah.
talk about this all the time on Sex and the Solo Girl. And perhaps you've heard of the BDSM quiz.
I haven't.
It is extremely comprehensive, over 100 questions, and it is called the BDSM quiz, but it's really like the kinky quiz. Like, what are you into? On a scale of one
Yeah.
to five, how much would this particular thing turn you on? And what I suggest to anyone who's kind of exploring kink for the first time, or curious about opening a conversation with their partner about it, and my current partner and I actually did this when we started dating, is each take the quiz separately and then share your results, because you get also a really comprehensive list of results
I love
and
it.
different like percentages about
Oh,
what type
yeah.
of kink you are. It's really, really cool. And then you could talk about it, because I think
Mhm.
everyone has some sort of kink inside of them. And
Mhm.
this can be a way for you, like I said, to open the conversation and then see where you might be compatible as far as exploration goes. So
Yeah,
I'll also link to that. It's just called the BDSM quiz. And
I
yeah, it's,
love it.
mm,
I had no idea that resource was out there. Thank you
I'll
so
send it to
much,
you. Don't
right?
worry.
So for our listeners, first do the erotic blueprint quiz and see how
Yes,
much
please.
kinky you have, right? Or maybe none at all. And then it turns out that that's an area that you would like to expand into.
And have your partner take it too, and you guys can talk about your
Yes,
blueprint
I think
types.
that's so important because like the love languages, you need to have a sense of, okay, where am I today and now, and where is my partner, and how do we navigate being these different blueprints, or maybe you're the same blueprint. How do we navigate that together? So for sure, it's always helpful to have your partner take it. I know, I had my partner take it when we first started dating, and that gave us a lot of information. And moving forward, I'll have other partners take the quiz as well, just because it's a good starting point, right? For exploring, like you said earlier in the episode, your sexuality.
And you bring up a very good point about the love languages and knowing, your partner's love language, which that is actually why the concept of love languages was started, is so you
Mhm.
could learn what your partner needs and what your partner most responds to. And
Yes.
that's really the point, not just making sure that you get your own love language spoken, but that
Right.
you learn to speak your partner's. And so yes, if you are in a relationship, make sure that you ask your partner to take the quiz and then learn about theirs.
And then you can start on that common ground of, like, now we know our own blueprint and how we can speak to each other. And when we go into the shapeshifter, we'll talk about this more during that episode. And I also want to name, like, this is a starting ground for you, right? And I think the fun part is expanding into all of the different blueprints,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So right now I'm in a deep exploration of my energetic blueprint, and I'm super curious about my kinky blueprint, right? So this is where I am today. And the goal is to be able to expand, to clear the shadows, to, accentuate and step more into the superpowers, and to expand your abilities in the bedroom, but also it's going to expand your abilities throughout your life. So,
When you're in touch, go ahead.
yeah, go ahead. No, 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 go ahead.
It's just when you're in touch with this side of yourself, you emanate a confidence and you have a light about you. And
Yeah,
like I said earlier, you encourage others
yeah.
to do it as well. Well,
I want
time
to,
is flying
I
by.
know
Go
it
ahead.
is, but I just want to go through, just really quickly, give people some examples, right? So
Yes.
I just brought my rope here, right? It's a nice soft rope, and it's a little stretchy. These are just some things that, people can play with. You can start with um
My
stuff from
goodness.
the kitchen, right? Get a little cat there.
I got spanked by a wooden spoon the other day and it burned.
It does burn, so
Yeah.
you gotta just, like, get clear, like, what feels good, what doesn't feel good,
Yes. So
what turns me
play.
on. It
Mm-hmm.
is all about playing. And then, I got myself a couple of little
Oh, I
floggers,
love that.
but this
Mm-hmm.
is a really soft flogger, so I don't like a lot of intense sensation. And I got this. This is I mean, like I said, I don't like a lot of intense
Oh my
sensation.
God. That
I
is
know.
awesome.
This is all you, girl. And it's a very
Oh,
sensual
that's neat.
flogger, right? It's very soft,
Yes.
called a fluff
Oh, I
daddy.
need this in my life.
Yes, I know you
Oh,
do.
that's
And then, handcuffs, right? I like things to be soft. I don't want to get a lot of,
mm.
so my handcuffs are fluffy. And then I bought this little
Oh,
tool.
these are popular. I don't have one of those.
Yes,
Mm,
which, it's okay. That's the
mm.
thing. That is the thing, is to explore. How does this feel? And I'm like, it's okay. But you can also play with something as simple as a comb.
Yes.
No, and maybe it's so let's actually do. And then I have this little guy which I've had forever, and I
Oh,
use it
really? Mhm.
when I dance. Um,
Oh, okay. I was like, I thought you didn't like to be spanked.
I don't, but when I'm
Oh,
dancing, when I am in
oh,
studio,
I want to see you
right,
spanking
pole
yourself.
dancing, I do. I like to be tied up to the pole. I like the feeling of constriction. So that's where my kinky avenue is explored. Usually, I did a dance the other day. I was like, "Oh, I'm so bored with my clothes and what I'm doing." And she was like, "Oh, here, try this." And she handed me a really soft flogger, and it absolutely changed the way I was moving, the way I was interacting with the chair, with the people, the way my body, and it was so hot. I was like,
Mhm.
wow. So to say that this is a journey, the exploration of your sexuality, of your eros, of your eroticism is a lifelong journey.
Never ending,
You
a
will
thousand percent.
change.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you will change over time, and things will be revealed over time. The more you create safety for yourself and for your body, the more you clear away, those shadows, those judgments, the more free you become. And that can sometimes take time. I've been dancing for 20 years with S Factor, and I'm just now scratching the surface of this really kinky, naughty, provocateur kind of energy that has been locked up for me for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to normalize that. Wherever you are on the spectrum of kinky is a-okay for you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you so much for all of that. Oh, and this is one of my things.
I
I'm
know, I
wearing,
love
yes,
it.
I'm wearing this today because and we just got this recently, but I had just thought a little while ago that I'm curious about chain and
Mm,
how it would just feel to be set on my skin.
exactly.
And so we went to an actual hardware store and picked it out. And then that was what we did was like place it in different areas on my skin and just kind of enjoying the feel of it.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. I love
And
that you.
again, something that some people might consider not very vanilla.
Yeah. And some people might be like,
Oh,
chains. I do those all the time.
I've
That's
been doing that since I was a
yeah.
kid.
Again, the spectrum goes in every direction. And I just love that you have a partner that you've created that much safety with, that you guys can explore this together. And my prayer for the world is that we can all find that we can really release the judgment around sex and sexuality and this incredible energy so that we can all be free, well, I know we're going to run out of time, and I want to do just the quickie little kinky pleasure first.
Okay. And what is a pleasure first, Patty?
Right. So pleasure first. Thank you. That we do that a lot in the erotic blueprint world. And it is a time to connect to yourself, connect to your body, ground, settle into, and find pleasure. To me, it's like a nervous system regulation tool. And it also retrains the brain to seek and find pleasure because we're so trained to look for pain and the problem and to try to fix it. So it's a shift in your way of thinking and being, and you can find pleasure in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and live your life from that place of seeking and finding pleasure in everything.
Thank you. And today we are doing a pleasure first that is for kinksters or embodies the energy. How would you describe this one?
Yes, we're going to explore the kinky
Okay.
blueprint with
Okay.
this pleasure first. So it's going to be just like the other pleasure first that we did in the other shows. We did one specifically on the energetic, specifically on the sensual. We might have forgotten about the sexual, or no, we did one for that too.
We
Anyway,
did, yeah.
I digress. I'm just going to really focus it on exploring pleasure with all of these different kinky little energies. All right.
I am really ready for this.
No, I love it. So, if you are willing and able to close your eyes, if you're driving, please come back to this later.
Yes, please.
And first, let's just get present with your body. in this moment, right here, right now, feeling your feet firmly planted on the ground, feeling that gorgeous ass of yours firmly planted in your chair, your sits bones making contact with whatever surface you're sitting on, and just allowing your body to breathe, getting present with right here, right now. Making sound if you need it. And now I want you to take your left hand and scratch from your shoulder all the way down to your elbow. And then just take a breath and notice what that feels like to your body. Notice if your body enjoyed it or not, and let's go ahead and do it again. So a nice scratch. Maybe you change the pressure of the scratch from your shoulder all the way to your elbow. Just breathing into that sensation. Now I want you to take your left hand and grab your right wrist. And I want you to squeeze really hard and then pull. Pull and pull away. And feel, right? You can squeeze really hard all up your forearm. And then you can pull on your hand. And then take a breath and notice what that created for your body. That sensation of constriction, holding really tightly, and that fight, right? Between that hand that's pulling and the hand that's pulling away. Just notice. And now my favorite, you can take your right hand onto your right thigh or your right ass and give yourself a high five. Whether you do it really hard or maybe you just do a little one, and just notice what that sensation created for your body. And now I want you to play with all three of those. Maybe there's scratches up and down your thigh. Maybe you squeeze your other arm and see what that feels like. Maybe you give yourself another high five. Just play with all of those different things and just notice. Now I want you to notice what it was like to do exactly what I was telling you to do. Did you like following my instruction? Were you resistant? Did you want to do it your own way? And that'll give you some insight on that dominant submissive dynamic. Of course, I could have been a little bit more firm in the Kinky Blueprint. Slap your thigh. Don't enjoy it. And go ahead whenever you're ready. I just want you to give yourself some squeezes for whatever arose during that. Pleasure first. Yes, beautiful. And you can open your eyes whenever you're ready. So that was just an exploration of different kinds of sensations and what those sensations created for your body. And then again, with the like dominant submissive, what was it like following the specific instruction?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wasn't expecting that to be an aspect of it. And when you said that, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
like, how did following instruction feel to you? That, yeah, I would say that's something definitely to think about if you're thinking you're kinky.
Right. A submissive will be like, oh, yes, thank you. Yes, they would
Yep.
feel really delicious and
Mhm.
safe in that environment of being told exactly what to do, and in that psychological play of, do exactly as I tell you, but don't enjoy it, right?
That interests me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to think about
Yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. Are you resisting that? Like, don't tell me what to do. So these are all different clues, right? Um, and again, the erotic blueprint quiz where you can discover what your blueprint is. It's pattyalfonso.com/erotic quiz. You'll get a real deep sense of what it is that your body really is desiring in this moment. And it's really incredible because we also, like, there's all the things that we think we want in our head, but then we also really need to connect to the body and whether or not that feels good to the body. Like for me, the what I liked the most was just the open-handed slap on my thigh.
Mhm.
Like that sting and that tingle was like, ooh, yeah. The like grabbing and holding and the constriction, not so much.
Huh.
So what is it for you? Everybody's body is different.
Indeed, and everybody's yeah, sensuality and sexuality is different, but the erotic blueprints provides a lovely map for exploring where you tend to lead or
Yeah.
to lean, excuse me, or lead. I don't know if you're kinky, maybe you want to lead. Thank you so much. Please, everyone, go and take the quiz. It's also so much fun. Let us know in the comments or look us up. Let us know what you discovered, what you're thinking about it. Please subscribe to my channel. We've already discussed three of them: the erotic, or excuse me, the energetic, the sensual, and the sexual. We still have shapeshifter coming up. That's one that is a lot of fun. And so, yes, please hit the subscribe. Keep your eyes on this space. Go take the quiz and go have some fun.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye,
you so
everyone.
much, Patty. Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.